After 65, life begins to whisper truths we never heard in our younger years. The pace slows down, but the mind grows sharper. We begin to see things not as they appeared in the rush of youth, but as they really are. And one of the most valuable lessons we learn in our later years is this: peace is more important than being understood. At this stage, not everything needs to be said, and not every truth needs to be shared, especially with family. This isn't about secrecy or mistrust. It's about self-protection. It's about choosing peace over drama. It's about honoring the life you built and guarding it from unnecessary stress. In today's video, we'll explore 5 powerful secrets you should never share with your family after 65 if you want to live peacefully, with dignity and strength. Each one is drawn from real-life experience, quiet wisdom, and the emotional challenges seniors face in modern families. Let's begin. 1. Your exact financial situation. An elderly person balancing a checkbook, looking thoughtful but content. After 65, your financial life becomes a deeply personal matter. You may have a pension, savings, social security, or perhaps limited income. Whatever it is, never reveal the full picture. Why? Because money, even within families, can shift the dynamics in unhealthy ways. Once your children or relatives know how much you have or don't have, it changes how they treat you. They may start to make assumptions: you don't need that much. Why not help us with the house down payment? You're old now. What do you need all this for? Since you're not spending much, why not give it early? Even if they don't say it out loud, these thoughts grow quietly in the background. Suddenly, your independence is questioned. Your generosity becomes expected, but the truth is, you need that money. For emergencies, for healthcare, for your dignity, and, yes, even for pleasure. You earned it. Keep the numbers to yourself. You can be generous, kind, and supportive, but without turning your financial life into an open book. Because when money becomes part of every conversation, peace becomes rare. Let your silence protect your future. 2. Your past regrets and mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone carries regrets. But after 65, it's time to make peace with them, not reopen the wounds. It's tempting to confess to your children or grandchildren. To share something you regret from 30 or 40 years ago. Maybe a failed relationship, a parenting mistake, or a secret you carried in silence. You might think, if I share this now, I'll feel lighter. They'll understand me better. But here's the painful truth: they might not. You see, people don't always have the emotional maturity to receive your regrets with grace. They may judge you, they may lose respect. Or worse, they may carry pain that was never theirs to hold. Remember, you are not the same person who made those mistakes. You have grown. You have healed. Your past deserves peace, not relit fires. Keep your regrets sacred. Write them in a private letter. Tell them to God. Tell them to yourself, but not to people who may misunderstand and hurt you without meaning to. Not everything must be said, especially when silence brings healing. 3. Your opinions about your children's life choices. Adult children arguing, then scenes of peace and silence. This is one of the hardest lessons to accept in old age. Your adult children do not want your advice, they want your approval. Even if they ask for your thoughts, they're usually seeking validation, not correction. You might be watching them make mistakes, choosing the wrong partners, raising your grandchildren in ways you wouldn't, spending too much, living too fast, or too carelessly. You might be right, but saying it will only bring conflict. After 65, you no longer need to fix others. You've earned the right to let go, to observe without absorbing, to care without controlling. Yes, it's hard to watch your children struggle, but the wisest elders know silence can be more loving than unsolicited advice. When you hold your opinions gently inside and offer love without correction, you become a refuge, not a critic. And that's what they'll remember when you're gone, not your opinions, but your presence. 4. Your fears about death, health, or loneliness. Fear is natural after 65. We fear illness, loneliness, losing independence, and yes, death. But your family doesn't need to carry all your fears. Why? Because often, they don't know how to handle them. You might say, I'm scared of dying alone. Or, I think something is wrong with me. And their reaction, don't talk like that. You're being negative, or worse, they brush it off completely. Not because they don't love you, but because your fear reminds them of their own mortality and they're not ready for that. So, what happens? You feel unheard. They feel uncomfortable, and the gap grows. Instead, learn to express your fears with the right people. A counselor, a support group, a close friend who understands. Write them in a journal, whisper them in prayer. You don't need to burden your family with your inner storms. You need peace, not panic. Let your strength be quiet, and your fears be met with dignity, not dependence. 5. Your final plans in too much detail. It's wise to prepare for the end. Wills, funeral arrangements, advance directives, these are all important. But once the essential legal documents are in place, don't discuss your death in too much detail with your family. You may think you're being practical, but it often brings them more anxiety than comfort. Statements like, "Bury me here, don't waste money on a funeral. This is how I want my body handled," can feel cold or overwhelming to children who aren't emotionally ready. Instead of constant reminders about your passing, focus on living well. Leave a letter. Leave your wishes written and clear. Then stop talking about death like it's around the corner. It will come, yes, but there is life now. Enjoy it. Laugh with your family. Cook, eat, take walks. Don't let your final days be filled with talk of the end. Let them be full of presents. You don't have to share every detail. You just need to prepare silently and then live loudly. 6. Your private thoughts about family conflicts and grudges. Every family has conflicts, sibling rivalries, jealousy, inheritance disputes, old wounds, and unspoken resentments. And as we grow older, we become observers of these storms, often asked to take sides. But one of the wisest things you can do after 65 is this: never reveal your inner thoughts about family fights. You may have opinions, you may feel one child is right and another wrong. You may see through manipulation, bitterness, or entitlement. But expressing those thoughts out loud can do more harm than good. Because in family matters, what you say today may be twisted tomorrow. Dad said you were selfish. Mom told me you always cause trouble. You think he's your favorite, don't you? And just like that, your name gets dragged into a war that was never yours to begin with. As the elder, your role is no longer to judge, but to stabilize. Your silence becomes a shield. Your neutrality becomes wisdom. Sometimes you listen but don't comment. Sometimes you nod but don't endorse. Sometimes you feel things deeply but keep those feelings where they belong, inside your heart. You're not hiding the truth, you're protecting peace. You've earned your rest from chaos, and you don't need to solve every family problem anymore. Let the younger ones argue, let them learn. You, on the other hand, can be the calm in the storm, not the wind that fuels it. And when you're gone, what they'll remember is not which side you were on, but the fact that you were the only one who never threw fuel on the fire. 7. Your deepest loneliness and emotional pain. There's a special kind of loneliness that comes in old age. It doesn't always come from being physically alone, but from feeling emotionally invisible. You may sit in a room full of family, but no one really sees you. You may receive calls, but no one really listens. You may be surrounded by people, yet feel like you're living in a different world altogether. And sometimes, that loneliness aches so deeply, you want to shout it out. I feel forgotten. I feel left behind. I feel like a burden. But after 65, expressing that kind of pain to family members can often lead to confusion or guilt, not comfort. They might respond with pity or defensiveness or false promises. Some might even pull away, unsure how to support you. The truth is, your deepest emotional wounds deserve gentle, intentional spaces. Not rushed phone calls, not distracted family dinners. Instead of pouring your pain into people who are too distracted to carry it, find sacred containers for your grief, a trusted friend who walks the same path, a support group of seniors who understand the same silence, a therapist who listens without judgment, or even your own journal where your heart can speak freely. You don't need to share every ache to be loved. And you don't need your children to rescue you emotionally. Your emotional safety is yours to guard now. Choose wisely where you place your pain. Not everyone deserves to hold it. And that's not selfish, that's survival. Because when you give your deepest truths to the wrong people, they may accidentally bruise what you're trying to heal. So hold your loneliness gently, honor your heart privately. And know this: even in solitude, you are whole. Even in silence, you are seen. Final outro. You've now heard 7 powerful secrets to protect your peace after 65. Let them be a reminder: you're not weak for holding things back. You're not cold for setting boundaries, you're wise. You've lived through enough storms to know that not every truth brings freedom, some bring chaos. Now is your time to breathe, to enjoy the stillness, to share only what lifts you up, and to guard your peace like the precious gift it truly is.